Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the stories making the headlines. Paedophile
priest Patrick McEntee is jailed for abusing boys whilst teaching at a school in Enniskillen.
Chloe Mitchell was murdered in Ballymena in 2023. Now a date's been set for the trial of the man accused of her killing.
And Institute survived flooding, but they're crying foul over football funding, with the club warning they could face the final whistle.
I could not believe it. I mean, if you've seen the way the Riverside Stadium is, anybody with a brain in their head walking around it would know that was no fault of our own.
Also tonight, it's seconds out for the knockout world title grudge match between Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan.
We're here with Sebastian the therapy dog to find out how he's offering support to children right across Northern Ireland.
And it's going to remain rather unsettled over the weekend with some wet and windy weather on the way for Sunday. I'll have all of the details later with the forecast.
A predatory paedophile with a dark and unseen side. That's how a judge described the former principal of an Enniskillen grammar school who was found guilty of the historical sexual abuse of 4 pupils.
Today at Dungannon Court, Patrick McEntee was sentenced to 7 years in prison, as Sarah O'Kane reports.
This is Patrick McEntee, a priest and former principal, and now a convicted paedophile. Today, the 71-year-old was sentenced to 7 years for abusing 4 pupils aged between 12 and 16 during the late 70s and 80s at St Michael's College in Enniskillen. The judge described McEntee as a predatory paedophile, a man with a public persona as Christian and caring, but with a dark and unseen side. He said he used his position of power to abuse children in his care and secure their silence. During the 2-week trial back in June at Dungannon Magistrates Court, the jury heard how he would bring the boys into his private quarters in the school and make them sit on his knee or touch them inappropriately, something McEntee of Esker Road in Dromore said was outrageous and downright lies. The judge described his crimes as harrowing and how what he did has had an indelible mark on his victims' lives. In a statement, the PSNI said, McEntee is a child predator who used his position to take advantage of young boys who trusted him. He is a highly manipulative individual who was able to offend in plain sight and preyed on the innocence of his victims. Patrick McEntee was asked to stand in the dock, and as the judge sentenced him to 7 years, there was no reaction before he was led away in handcuffs. The Board of Governors at St Michael's College have expressed their deep regret and sadness that such abuse took place. They said, as a Board of Governors and on behalf of the school community, we unreservedly apologise to the victims for the hurt they have suffered. McEntee has been a priest for over 4 decades, his most recent parish here in Dromore in County Tyrone. The court heard how he's already lodged an appeal against his conviction, something the judge said would have caused trauma to his victims. In a statement issued to the media following today's sentencing, the McEntee family said, "We, his family, siblings, sisters and brother-in-law, his many nieces and nephews, reiterate our absolute belief in Father Patrick's innocence, and we will continue to pursue his complete and outright exoneration in this case." McEntee was also placed on the sex offenders register for life. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live, Dungannon.
The date has been set for the trial of a 29-year-old man who's accused of murdering Ballymena woman Chloe Mitchell.
The body of the 21-year-old was discovered days after she was last seen in the town just over 2 years ago. Barbara McCann reports.
The remains of Chloe Mitchell were found days after she went missing in Ballymena. The 21-year-old had last been seen on CCTV in the town centre in the early hours of June the 3rd, 2023. Her disappearance had prompted a series of extensive searches in and around the town and along the River Braid before she was discovered dead. 29-year-old Brandon John Rainey, whose address was given as Magabry Prison and who is formerly of James Street in Ballymena, has been charged with murdering Chloe. He has also been charged with attempting to prevent the lawful and decent burial of her body. Rainey denies both charges and is currently on remand. The case was listed for mention today, and the judge was told that psychiatric reports from both the Crown and Defence have now been served to the court. Chloe's relatives sat in the public gallery of Court 11 waiting to hear the date for the trial of the man accused of murdering her. The judge set it for February 23rd next year, and it's expected to last 4 weeks. Barbara McCann, UTV Live, Belfast Crown Court.
Football clubs in the North West have been counting the cost of having funding applications rejected by the Department for Communities.
20 clubs found out yesterday that they'd made it through to the next round of the Northern Ireland Football Fund, but notable teams including Derry City and Institute were refused. In a moment we'll hear from the Communities Minister Gordon Lyons, but first our reporter Stuart Robson's been gauging reaction.
The North West is feeling neglected. Funding hasn't made it this far. Japanese knotweed is now infesting every inch of Institute's former home. Flooding forced this historic ground to permanently close in 2017. Diggers are at Drumahoe as the Riverside Stadium is demolished.
I could not believe it. I mean, if you've seen the way the Riverside Stadium is, anybody with a brain in their head walking around it would know that was no fault of our own what happened to that football pitch, that stadium. And I mean, it's just left us really, where do we go?
A sorry sight for the club's former chairman, missing out on moving to the next stage of the Northern Ireland Football Fund with so many hopes placed in it has created frustration and anger.
We're just an everyday club trying to do our best, and I mean, we're out a big lot of money trying to getting the application ready for the bids.
Do you know how much?
We're talking in excess of $250,000.
20 clubs were successful in moving to the next stage of a long-awaited Stormont pledge. A share of the £32.6 million has fallen far short of the foil. Across the river, fans feel let down too.
First of all, formally I was shocked, and then the disappointment set in.
The Brandywell is Derry City's home, but Institute's temporary one for 8 years. The Candy Stripes applied for more than £11 million from the fund, but the application was rejected.
I mean, what else do we need in order for Gordon Lyons to, have a change of heart, a change of mind? I don't believe he will. I mean, he already said that the money is out there for those clubs. So, I mean, I don't know what Derry City needs. I thought they thought themselves that they were guaranteed something, and I think they're just as shocked as all the supporters.
To the east of the county, Limavady United and Coleraine also missed out. The Bandsiders manager, Rory Higgins, has made it clear that he feels geography has had a part to play in this off-the-pitch defeat, something the Department for Communities denies. What isn't in denial is the feeling of frustration across the region.
I think there was a lot of surprise as well. Maybe not shock because the area has been neglected in the past, but I think that especially Institute and Derry City, they felt that their business cases and their applications were watertight, and so there was an element of surprise that they didn't get through to the next stage of the fund.
Tactics will be key as all teams return to action this weekend, but it's the decisions that have been taken off it that will be talked about on the terraces. Stuart Robson, UTV Live.
Well, watching that with us was the Communities Minister Gordon Lyons, who joins us now. When you look at those pictures of Institute, it's difficult to see how it didn't qualify for funding.
I understand the anger and frustration that many people right across Northern Ireland feel because of the decisions that have been made. I've visited many of these clubs and I have seen firsthand the work that they do and the needs that are there, and I have a huge amount of sympathy for them. But ultimately, these decisions are not based on my feelings, but on a robust application process. And everybody had equal opportunity to read the guidance notes, to engage with my officials, to apply and to be scored. So that equality of opportunity was there for everybody, but I cannot guarantee equality of outcome because ultimately these decisions were based not on anything that I might think or say, but based on the quality of the applications that were submitted. That's the only way that this can be done fairly, because I want to get this money out. I didn't want this to be challenged in any way. I wanted this to be fair and straightforward, and that's what we have, and that's why we will be engaging with the clubs to talk to those that have been unsuccessful.
Minister, geographically, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't. I get that. I would love to have seen more regional balance, but it's not right that I jump in and dictate where this money should go. It has to be done on the basis of fairness, and it has to be done on the basis of the quality of the application that was submitted. That is the only fair way for it to be done. That's why we have a robust process in place.
Well, let's talk about the application, because these are clubs that don't have a lot of money. It costs them money to put in the application. Is there any recourse for that?
Well, of course, we did help. A number of the clubs that you have mentioned were given financial support by the department so that they could put in these applications. But the other important thing to say is that this is not the end of the road for anybody at this stage. I want to see everybody moving forward. I want to get this money out, get this money spent, and then bring the others along as well, because 14 years people have been waiting for this. I'm the first minister to get it to this stage. We weren't going to be able to get everybody through just yet, but I want to get as many as I can and get more funding so that more people can get through.
Well, are you prepared to put a time on that?
I can't put a time on the clubs that have already got through. A lot of that will be down to them and the information that they provide to us as a department. But I can guarantee this, I will do everything that I can to move this process forward as quickly as possible, because others have delayed this for far too long, and I'm determined to deliver and get it done. And yesterday was an important stage in that. Let's not lose sight of the fact that this money has been sitting for 14 years. At least I'm getting it out.
OK, well, let's talk about another project just before you go. Casement. Where are we with that? Are you meeting with the GAA soon? Because you said you want to see their plans.
I have met with the GAA, and my officials have engaged with them as well. But there's a difference between the Northern Ireland Football Fund and Casement. Casement was held up for a long time, first of all because of planning issues and residents' concerns and the issuing of safety certificates, and now because of the gap that exists. That gap still exists. We don't know exactly what it is that the GAA finally want to settle on. That will determine what the funding gap is. But with the Football Fund, I took it forward. I didn't delay it. I actually made sure that it was delivered. Casement is having its problems because of the funding gap that exists.
Well, there's no onus on you though as well. When are you going to meet the GAA again?
I have met them. We've engaged within the last number of weeks, and of course I'm always open to engage with the GAA and other stakeholders. But I will get done what I can with what I have. We don't have that right now for Casement. We do have it with the Football Fund, which is why I'm moving forward and actually getting something done, unlike others that came before me.
Well, Gordon Lyons, Communities Minister, that will leave it. Thank you very much indeed.
The High Court has been told that a pensioner may have been murdered in his Dungannon home to pay off a drug debt. Police believe it could be one potential motive for the killing of 71-year-old Adam Curzan. He was stabbed to death in his flat in Corrani Park in February. The details emerged as a man accused of the murder was refused bail. Ryan Patrick Kerr is 33 and from Derry Latney Road in the town.
A man in his 40s has been arrested by Gardaí investigating the explosion at a petrol station in Creeslough in County Donegal that killed 10 people. The man is being held at a Garda station in the Dublin area.
3 men jailed for the murder of Ian Ogle have secured a date for legal bids to overturn their convictions. 42-year-old Robert Spears from Millers Park in Dundonald, 39-year-old Glenn Rainey from Ballyhalbert Caravan Park and 44-year-old Walter Irvine from Litchfield Park in Belfast all claim they were wrongly found guilty of being at the scene and taking part in the killing. Their appeals will be heard early next year.
A 45-year-old man arrested by police investigating recent arson attacks on 5G Mass in Belfast is due to appear before the city's magistrates court tomorrow, charged with 2 counts of arson.
Time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
With the details, here's Charlene White.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News. 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson is detained. We have the latest on the shooting of Charlie Kirk. A Cabinet Minister says Peter Mandelson would never have been appointed if the Prime Minister knew the extent of his link to Jeffrey Epstein. And Prince Harry's surprise visit to Kyiv after getting permission from the UK government and his wife Meghan. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
A way forward on dealing with legacy is very close, according to the Taoiseach, Micheál Martin. He was speaking after meeting with the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, at Chequers this morning. Our political correspondent, Vicky Hawthorne, joins us. So, Vicky, was this meeting between the two leaders specifically about legacy?
Well, Sarah, they did talk about other significant world issues right now, of course, the Middle East, Ukraine. We know there has been this concerted effort between the Prime Minister, the Taoiseach, to reset relations, is what the phrase we kept hearing about. They met at a summit earlier this year back in Liverpool. Today, after this meeting, Downing Street has described the very strong relationship that now exists between the UK and Ireland. So I guess the reset element is now over. But yes, legacy was very much on the agenda. We know both governments have been talking a lot in the background to try to find an agreed way forward in how to deal with the past year. Sir Keir Starmer wants to repeal and to replace the Legacy Act that was brought in by the previous government. We are told by Downing Street today that they're saying following this meeting they are close to setting out a framework on legacy. The Taoiseach Micheál Martin did speak afterwards and he went a little bit further. He said very good progress had been made and they were very close.
OK, so how close is close? Close, very close?
Well, the fact that the Prime Minister and the Taoiseach were meeting today in this way is not insignificant. We know the parties, we understand, were briefed on some of the elements of this week. So it's clearly all moving in the right direction. Micheál Martin was pressed. How close? He said an announcement maybe would be coming shortly. As I understand it, it is probably more likely to be imminent. And that's when the real test begins, because then you have to see how the parties react and, of course, victims and survivors.
Yeah, OK. Watch this space then. Vicky, thanks very much indeed. And for more political analysis, you can check out our new politics podcast.
Yes, UTV Talking Politics sees Vicky, alongside our political editor, Tracy McGee, look back at the political stories that have made the headlines here over the last fortnight. Well, you can find the first episode on ITVX and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and we're all looking forward to watching and listening.
Absolutely.
It's time for sport.
Here's Ruth Gorman.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Good evening. Windsor Park will host the first All-Ireland World title fight tomorrow night between Belfast's Lewis Crocker and Limerick's Paddy Donovan. It's part 2 of what was a dramatic first meeting between the two boxers, and the IBF welterweight belt is on the line.
Trash talking is the norm in boxing, whether it's to wind up an opponent or sell more tickets. But for Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan, none of that was needed. Memories from March when the pair first met is enough. A controversial ending denied Donovan his victory and set up a first ever world title fight between two Irish boxers. This story has everyone on the edge of their seats for the next chapter.
It's giving me the goosebumps now, and I can't wait for Saturday, honestly. Just the way everything's planned out and stuff, and I'm going to put on a big performance on Saturday.
Waking up in your own bed just around the corner from Windsor Park, do you look out every morning and go, it's nearly here?
Since I've been home, I've ran past it a few times and just had a moment, and visualising it. So the fact that it's near here, it's amazing. I'm way more confident going into this fight than I was the last one as well. So as I said, I'm ready to put on a big performance.
He's enjoying the role of underdog a lot more. Went to Dubai, brought a whole training camp in, brought an S&C coach in, brought a nutritionist in. He's brought his own sparring partners out. They all live together. He's done it the right way. He's invested in himself for this fight, which is now something that he's kind of needed to do for the last few fights. So that shows how much he's learned from the last fight.
He said to me, I'm not losing at Windsor Park. And Paddy's very confident. He feels like he was on his way to winning the first fight. It's just you and another man fighting for the World Championship. One of you is going to change your life forever.
For Donovan, he feels he needs to put this chapter to bed on his way to becoming a world champion.
What makes you believe that this is your time?
It's just everything leading up to this, the career, how it's gone so far, the work I've done with Andy, the controversial fight in the last one. It just feels like it's my destiny. I don't think Crocker's right there right now, but down the line I think he could become a world champion, but I think it's my hour.
Crocker was on the undercard of the last fight night here in 2018 when Carl Frampton headlined the show.
It's a huge fight and it deserves to be in a big stadium like this, and we've only had one before here, so this is the second one. The only thing that's annoying me now is there's people going to have fought at Windsor Park twice, and I didn't get to do that.
There will be plenty of boxing prowess on display tomorrow night, not least as Molly McCann makes her switch from MMA.
MMA was brilliant and took me round the world and gave me opportunities I never thought was there. But boxing's what I'm the best at, so I can't wait to listen to the Belfast crowd go off their heads when they hear every punch land on Saturday.
This is the type of thing you came to as a kid, to see your heroes. What's it like actually being part of it now?
It's quite surreal. It was
maybe 8 years ago, I was a kid coming here watching Frampton, Kakachi. They would have been doing their media workout. Now I've got my own.
Now Ireland back row Aoife Wafer will make her much anticipated comeback for Sunday's quarter-final against France at the Women's Rugby World Cup in Exeter. Co-captain Adele McMahon misses out through injury. Wafer, who was the Six Nations Player of the tournament from this year, missed the group stages because of a knee injury, but is a welcome boost for Ireland.
Yeah, like obviously she's been working extremely hard behind the scenes. You know, we've all seen it. She's been, since the moment in training or whatever, you know, like she's been non-stop working hard to get herself back onto the pitch. And this weekend, you know, we'd be very happy for her because it's just shows the amount of work, the amount of, you know, time she's taken out of her life for the last number of weeks, months, to get back onto the pitch. And obviously, you know, her accolades stand for herself. She's a great player.
Ulster Rugby return to the pitch tonight in Belfast for their first pre-season friendly game of the season against Edinburgh. Defence coach Willie Falloon says it's been a positive pre-season.
We've had 6-7 weeks of pre-season, and you're ready to see where you are stacking up against those other teams. Like, so we've Edinburgh this weekend, and then we'll see them again in the second week of the URC. So we want to see where we're at.
This is going to be your first full season. How have you enjoyed being back? What's it like now as a coach?
Yeah, really exciting. Like you said, I was in early in March time, but to actually have pre-season, have a bit of time to put a bit of a stamp around what we're trying to do this year. It was nice to get that time.
Rory McIlroy is on 3 under par after a second round of 72 today at the BMW Championship at Wentworth. McIlroy had a mixed round and is 8 shots off the lead, but has made the cut for the weekend. That's your sport this Friday. Enjoy a weekend of sport.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Now, being a legal witness can be a daunting experience for anyone, especially for a child. But thanks to the NSPCC's Young Witness Service, vital support is being provided.
Yes, that's right. And they've just welcomed a new member to their team. Our reporter, Nathan Hanna, has been finding out more.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Hello.
The dog helping deliver justice meets the Justice Minister.
Look, are you shaking hands? You're shaking hands.
This is Sebastian. He's a 2-year-old St Bernard Bernese mountain dog. And he's a bit of a superhero. Sebastian is a certified therapy dog. His role is to support children and young people to give their best evidence by reducing the stress of attending court. This gentle giant keeps them company when they are waiting at court or one of the remote evidence centres.
Today, I was meeting Sebastian, who has now been qualified as the therapy dog, and will be there in a number of cases where young victims and witnesses will be able to seek his comfort and support at a time that is very difficult. Hopefully get some pleasure and some joy from the time they spend with him, but also create a more relaxing environment for them as they go to deal with an issue that is potentially traumatic, and hopefully make it a better experience for them all round. It also means if they're more relaxed, they're more likely to give their best possible evidence, and that is good for the justice system and for wider society.
And his owner couldn't be more proud.
He brings me so much joy, he brings the family so much joy, so to be able to share that around, and for him to do the good that he'll be doing with the Young Witness, it's just amazing, and it just makes my heart swell.
The Young Witness Service supports all young children who are required to give their evidence in court by the Prosecution Service, and we support all children across all of the courts in Northern Ireland. No matter what the offences, we'll be there to provide that support on the day and through their Crown Court trials. We have a team of volunteers who are absolutely essential in terms of providing the support that we offer, and they work alongside our staff team. And we will meet with the children and the family, and families are often going through a very difficult time when preparing to attend court, so the team are there to offer support and guidance and reassurance.
Sebastian, who loves to sing and go for play sessions in the dog park, is only 2 years old, so will be around for many years to come to offer support to those who need it. Nathan Hanna, UTV Live.
Oh, he's making me feel relaxed just looking at him.
A dog with a very important job.
Yes. The weekend is here, so what's in store weather-wise?
Yeah, Louise has all the details.
Feel good weather is set to continue throughout the day. UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. It was another day of scattered showers and some sunny spells, quite blustery, especially around coastal areas. Over the next couple of days it will remain rather unsettled and changeable. Showers merging to longer spells of rain at times and some brisk blustery winds blowing in on Sunday. It's all due to low pressure continues to dominate our weather. No change over the next few days, I'm afraid. Plenty of rain coming our way as we move through Saturday and some wet and windy conditions arriving in Sunday into Monday. Ahead of that though, this evening we have a few drier spells for a time. Then we have the next batch of rain pushing east, some heavy bursts there, becoming drier in the overnight period for most places. Then we have a scattering of showers filtering in across the west. Quite blustery overnight tonight, temperatures falling to low single figures in the coldest rural spots. Tomorrow gets off to a largely dry start across eastern areas, some patchy cloud, the odd brighter break. Then we see a scattering of showers filtering west to east. One or two heavy bursts in the mix, the odd rumble of thunder in places. Not quite as blustery tomorrow as it was today, winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, temperatures reaching highs of 14 or 15 degrees Celsius. Across the rest of Ireland it's a mixed day, sunny spells, scattered showers and some blustery winds. The showers will ease off as we move into the afternoon, temperatures reaching highs of 16 or 17 degrees Celsius in the sunniest spell. Looking ahead then towards Sunday, we can expect some very heavy rain to push through. It should move through relatively quickly as the winds start to pick up Sunday evening into Monday. Quite blustery there. We could have some gales around the coasts. So looking ahead, remaining rather unsettled and changeable into the start of next week with further wet and windy weather on Monday. Tuesday looks like a drier day before unsettled conditions return through the middle part of next week. That's the latest. Bye-bye.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
That's the latest this Friday evening. Don't forget you can keep up to date on our website. Simply search UTV News. The ITV News continues now with Charlene White, and I'll be back with the late news at 10:30. Do join me then.
Yeah, don't forget Pammy's here with UTV Live at 7 o'clock this evening. She'll be speaking to Eamon Holmes about his new tour, as well as local musician Matt Benson about his debut album. But for now, from Sarah, me and everyone here on the UTV News team, have a very good evening and a great weekend.
Bye-bye.